the dead is a miracle, doc. They counted me out. Moment of truth, counting it down. Underdog story was down for the count. Back on my feet, back with a mic, back on the beat, back with a family, then bang in the streets. The game on lock, I stand with a key. Standing my ground, I am planning to flee. Standing my ground, I am planting my feet. Taking a stand, embracing my destiny, shaking his hand, flipping the script.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday night CrossFit talk. I'm your host, Scott. She's Jamie. She's Carolyne. We're hanging out. What's going on, guys?
Oh, not much. We had tennis states this weekend. Well, we left Thursday to get there. They played on Friday. One of the teams, our 4 doubles, made it to Saturday to semifinals. So that was exciting. And then they took 7th in the state.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
I went back home to Sarnia this weekend. Saw my family that I haven't seen in a few months, maybe. So there was like this French party thingy, like it was like the 65th anniversary of like the French club in Sarnia. So they brought back like a bunch of previous presidents and just like explained how the French club started like in 1958 and all of the different activities that have kind of happened in my hometown ever since from this club. So it was really cool.
Awesome.
And that's your hometown?
Yeah, my dad is, and my mom is very involved with that club. So like my dad's the president right now. So I went home to support his big project.
Sherry Saw says, happy Sunday, all big Lions win today.
I did notice Jamie was wearing that sweater.
Yeah.
I didn't put my Niner shirt on.
I know. Closer than
I thought they were going to win. I thought in the second half when they got on that little bit of a roll, I thought they were going to pull it out. And then Patrick Mahomes did Patrick Mahomes stuff.
And a couple interceptions doesn't help as well.
No. Well, all my teams were off this weekend. So it was crazy not having any football in the middle of fall. Usually I have at least college or pro. I had nothing this weekend. So I replaced all the doorknobs in my house with the kind that like come out and go to the side. So you can like just put like an elbow on it and they'll open instead of a round doorknob.
Mm-hmm.
Because we did that on our front door and it made it so easy, like getting groceries and stuff in, like that Julie wanted it on all the doors.
Right.
So we did that this weekend, and I just put like a lot of little projects that have been waiting. I finished up this weekend, which was really nice. And then we did some meal prep stuff and all ready for the week. And then her Steelers play in about 10 minutes.
And the WNBA final game 5
and
be on any second now.
The New York Mets Dodgers game is on in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, this is like big sports day.
This is like October is the month where every sport is going.
Yes.
But CrossFit.
Right. Unless you
just
watch
like
Down Under Throwdown this weekend.
It's like playoff baseball, basketball starting up, hockey starting up, the WNBA playoffs. Yeah, it's some good stuff. Soccer playoffs maybe as well.
Soccer's going in some form or fashion. Yeah. I think it's like a mid-season break where they're doing like friendlies. But don't quote me on that. I am definitely not a soccer aficionado, but we do have a pro team here in Columbus with the Columbus Crew. And they sell out like every game. It's a huge thing here. But hockey's going. I've caught a couple Penguin games. I watched the Blue Jacket game, their first home game, because one of their best players was killed in a car accident in this offseason, and they did a big tribute to him to start the game. And Carolyne actually posted it on her Instagram, but they didn't fill his position on the rink to start the game. And then when the puck dropped, everybody stood still for a period of silence. And he was beloved in Columbus. Really good guy. And it was a sad moment. Really, really big gut check for the community here. So yeah, that happened this week too. But yeah, on to more fun things. The one thing I did do this weekend is, I'm a big music fan. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions happened last night, and Disney Channel aired it live.
Oh, nice.
And it was only like 6 hours long. But a lot of like my favorite bands growing up, and I'm much older than you guys, but like my mom loved Dionne Warwick. She got in. So it was fun seeing that. And I have always been a big Cher fan. And she got in. I cannot believe she has not been in before this,
Yeah.
but she still looks amazing. And she sang and performed, and it was really good. I'm trying to think. Foreigner got in, but their band members are so old they couldn't really perform. So they had like 3 songs done, and Sammy Hagar did one, Demi Lovato did one, and Kelly Clarkson did one. And they were fantastic. The performances have been really amazing. Ozzy got in, Ozzy Osbourne. He could not perform. So he had people sing for him. But the performances were great.
Kelly Clarkson, I think, is like one of the most underrated voices. Like, she's so good.
She did one of the Foreigner ballads, and she hit notes that like they never came close to hitting back in the day, but it sent like goosebumps up my spine.
Yeah, like she sings on her daytime show all the time, different versions of different songs. She is so good. Every cover that she does is unreal.
Yeah, if you find a clip of it, Caroline, it's so worth it. It just amazing. But yeah, Dave Matthews got in too, but I did not make it to. He's the last person inducted, and I did not make it there, so I'm going to watch it tomorrow. But I'm a big fan of his as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so many good groups, and I Kool and the Gang was like probably one of my biggest covers in my concerts I did in my bedroom from the age of 12 to like 16. I did at least 3 or 4 Kool and the Gang covers a day. So I would sing out the back window to the Chipmunks. They really enjoyed it.
Jamie, are you doing Wadapalooza qualifiers right now?
I'm not doing Wadapalooza. I'm doing Fittest of the Coast.
When's that one?
When is the comp?
Yeah, when's the like?
I think it's like second week of February. So they did that one in like almost like the Open, 3 weeks. Like a workout comes out on Thursday and it's due on Monday. And so there was 3 different workouts. Well, the second week was 2 workouts, like a lift after a workout, and then Thursday we got the last workout, so it's due Tuesday. So it comes out Thursday, it's due Tuesday. Holy smokes, this last one. Are you doing Fittest of the Coast? No? This last one, I've never been sore from toe to bar.
How many do you have in the workout? What is it?
So it's a 14-minute AMRAP of 15 toe to bar, 10 box jump overs, 5 deadlifts. So 15, 10, 5, 14-minute AMRAP.
I like that.
315 or 205 on the deadlift. So super like basic, like, yeah, just a shit ton of toe to bar.
Yeah, the reps add up though.
Yeah. I've never been sore from toe to bar.
How many box jump? Is it burpee box jump over or is there box jump?
No, just box jump over. Box jump over. 10.
Yeah, so that.
Yeah.
Add up to lots of reps for sure.
I mean, it's going to come down to toe to bar for everybody.
That's very similar to the one Wadapalooza workout. I mean, it's not similar in terms of time domain, but it's toes to bars, a box jump over, and dumbbell snatches instead of deadlifts.
Yes.
Same stimulus.
So I saw this and I don't have time to do it, so I'm not going to sign up for Wadapalooza, but I saw it. Training Think Tank put out a thing. Can you choose any format to do the workout?
Yeah, so this is very unique, Scott. I don't know if you can pull this up, but the Wadapalooza qualifier, number 3, I think. So you can do so all the way straight through, 50 toes to bars, 70 box jump overs, 90 dumbbell snatches. You can do it in reverse, 90 snatches, 70 box jump overs, and finish with 50 toes to bars. You can do 10 rounds of 5 toes to bars, 7 box jump overs, and 9 snatches. Or you can do 2 rounds of 25 toes to bars, 35 box jump overs, and 45 dumbbell snatches. But like, you don't see very often, like, pick the way that you want to do it. What do you think about like a qualifier as important as Wadapalooza? And like sometimes it's just like you can do everything unbroken, but you just pick the wrong one, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm curious about, because we did see the choose your own adventure style for the Open in 2020 or whatever, right? But it was literally choose your own. And so that was a strategy on yourself. This one is like dictating these 4 options. What I'm curious is like, it's just the best time's going to win. It doesn't, like, if you choose the 2 rounds for time and your time's better than my straight through, you win.
10 round. Yep. Like when you look at these versions, I think the 2-rounder makes the most sense, because if you do it straight through, I mean, if you go unbroken, if you're able to do it the whole thing unbroken, I just think that your cycle speed could maybe slow down a little bit. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I mean, if you can do everything unbroken, then option number 1 would be the fastest.
Right.
And if not, it's option 3, which is the 2-rounder.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that option 2, for somebody who had the capacity, I feel like the option 2 doesn't make sense because there's too much transition time. Like you're probably going to, you're going to probably wind up 10, 20 seconds slower because of just moving between implements that much. I want to do this workout.
I did it today just to test it for someone.
Okay.
Because I like these movements. I did the 2-rounder.
Okay.
It's fast, but it's fun. I'm just curious. I'm not doing Wadapalooza, by the way. But I'm just curious if I did option 1, whether I would be faster than option 3, like the 2-rounder. If I just went 50 toes to bars and tried to go unbroken there, recover my grip. I mean, I feel like I could do 50 toes to bars unbroken, or if I needed to drop at the very last second, just a quick off and on. I feel like I can do 70, 90 unbroken. I just wonder if my cycle speed would be slower.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I'm just curious, like what the fastest time is going to be. Is it going to be someone who did option 1 or option 3, and whether they're going to put in the leaderboard what option they did? Because I would be curious to see the winning score. It came from which option?
Yes.
That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah. Agree.
Dense Update says pick your poison.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it.
It is cool. When I saw the workout, I was like, what the heck? Like, and it plays mind games with you, because you're like, you don't really want to do it twice, right? I mean, you only have like this weekend to do all of these workouts. So you don't really want to do this one twice. You kind of need to pick the right one and do it.
I think you can do it twice if you just don't do it like back to back, but
I guess you could start with it.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like if my option 1 would be faster. I would prefer option 1 than 4. I'd prefer to start and finish your toes to bars, and then you can hold on to the dumbbell snatches.
Yes.
Versus finishing with the toes to bars. I don't think that would be good.
Yeah.
I'd rather finish with just dumbbell snatches. But yeah, I'm just curious. Because, I mean, if you do have it unbroken, that's the fastest one.
I feel like my box jumps are so slow that trying to do 70 in a row would be...
I spin in a circle. I just go in the same way. And then what I did is, like, I would spin in a circle, and then before I'm done, like, close to 35, I started doing, like, you go one way, then you go back, you know, like the regular one that people do, just to, like, unwire my brain that was just going in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I think it'd be interesting if they actually posted the results of that one to
Yes.
see how many people picked what. Was there one that was like avoided more than the others? Like it'd be interesting to see like some data on it.
I feel like option 2 or option with the 2 rounds is going to be the more popular one for the elite athletes.
Yeah. That
But
one
it-
and
Could be
but I
wrong.
think there will be a lot of people who choose to try the option 2, the 10 rounds, and try to move very fast. Like, no, I just, depending on how close I don't know if there's a floor plan, if you have to have things, probably
Don't.
not. So if you can keep it close enough and really move through it, could be quicker. I don't know. It's
It's
just, it is a
interesting.
lot.
It's
Transition.
interesting though. And it's like, I don't know if I like that though.
I know.
I don't know if that should be a part of fitness, like choosing the right. I mean, like,
So I think we have to remember though that outside the CrossFit Games, they're not finding the fittest, right? They're just holding a competition and having people come.
Yeah.
Like Rogue says we're finding the strongest and fittest, but it's biased towards strength most of the time. And I think that's fine as long as you know that going in. Right? But if you're doing the CrossFit Games, it should be a balanced test from start to finish.
Yes.
Yeah. Dense Updates asks, do you do Murph faster if you partition the reps? I'm thinking the 10 rounds would be faster as long as the transitions are minimal.
Yeah.
But I think that's the difference between a normal athlete and an elite athlete.
Right.
Because I think some elite athletes would do Murph unpartitioned.
Oh, well, yeah.
that wouldn't be the fastest.
It wouldn't be that one wouldn't be the
partition
fastest.
wouldn't be. But like if you were able, like if you're like Josh Bridges and you're able to do the 20 chest to bars unbroken, you do the 5 rounder of what they did, and for the most part be unbroken, like let's say on the air squats and the push-ups or whatever rep that you can do unbroken the whole way with the least amount of transitions, like that's the version.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Bruce Wayne says Wadapalooza is a festival.
it is.
This isn't even in our notes. But a good question of this is, I heard Colton Merton say at Crash, or in an interview he did with Savon later this week, that he wasn't doing Wadapalooza because it's not worth it for 2 days and 5 events or whatever he said, right? He said if they went back to the 4-day version, it would be worth it for him to do that. But when you shrink it to 2 days and then 2 days a team, it's not worth it anymore. I just want to get your thoughts. Do you think Wadapalooza will eventually lose some of the elite athletes because of that, or the up and coming athletes trying to make that next step up?
For one, I think Colton's a little bit of an outlier because I don't think team appeals to him quite the same as some other people. So like, I don't think that he even necessarily wants to do that. So he would be going for 2 days and it definitely isn't worth it. The people who want to do both and like work out with their buddies, I can see the appeal of it.
He also said he mentioned the rain out events too.
Yeah.
You have 2 days,
Things
5 or 6 events, and half of them get rained out or changed or whatever. And it just wasn't worth it. His investment anymore.
Yeah.
To go to that.
I feel that.
Like someone like Pat or Brent or Tia, even like who's been in the sport forever, like they can go do those things for fun because they've established, like, they know how to compete. They know what a 4-day weekend is. They know, right? And they can go have fun. But an athlete on the cusp of like from semifinal to games probably needs more 4-day comps to prep themselves to understand what that is, to run through nutrition and sleep and rest and all of those things. And you don't get that anymore with Wadapalooza.
Yeah. I'd argue that the field isn't as deep either. And like Colton said, you want to go to a comp where you're actually like, when you finish, you kind of know where you stand.
Or for him, it was more worth it to do a local comp than to go to Wadapalooza and do that. But
I mean,
just was
it
curious.
has been worth it for him lately.
It has.
NorCal and Crash winning is
Yeah.
more than basically finishing top 10 at the games. Like, he's had a great off season. He's
Yeah.
picked the right competitions and had some good exposure.
And now he's at a point where he can just go do a couple local Iowa comps and get some work in without worrying about money or.
Yeah, I'm just curious how the new location of Wodapalooza will attract more people, maybe. Just the layout of it. I'm just curious to see how that's going to be when it goes through. I just I've only done team there, and but yeah, it's just like with the Reno and stuff. Like, I understand why it's like some people are iffy about spending all that money because the flights aren't expensive, but the stay is so expensive, and then the actual competition fee is expensive, like very expensive. So if you don't feel like you're getting as much out of it as you can maybe in another competition, I understand, but there are typically a lot of great athletes that will show up.
Yeah, I've been twice as a media person. Both times struggled to get any kind of footage or access, and even getting into the stands for the events was near impossible. I do think I'm talking about this from an athlete point of view, but I think the fans love the format they have now.
I think the fans like it. I do think they like to watch like the 2 day of individuals and then get to see them also compete in team. You don't get to see those people do team all the time. So it's cool to see the 3 same sex compete together and work together.
It's, as an athlete, you almost want to do both because like you just want to make it a longer weekend and make it worthwhile of your stay, basically. But it has shrunk the amount of events that you'll be able to do in terms of if you're just doing individual or just doing teams. But at the same time, you're allowing people to do both, which is cool. And I think now we're seeing super teams get formed that weekend, like you said, that you don't see very often.
And I think the team aspect of Wodapalooza is much more loose, and people do a lot of talking, a lot of jabbing at each other. And I think that makes it more fun for the crowd. And it starts with individual and ends with team too. So like you get the really serious individual piece kind of done and out of the way. And then the Saturday, Sunday is this fun trash talk, and more on the men's side than the women's side. But,
and sometimes some of the teams change because of the individual competition and how it went for someone. And all of a sudden a team that was supposed to have this person gets this person, and this team got better because they added this person that filled in. There's a lot of last minute changes as well.
Like I remember the year Emily had to withdraw from team because she injured her calf.
Yep.
Was it Sarah's team, I think?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Bruce says it's going to be worse on South Beach. I think getting there is going to be way worse, and the price is going to be way higher.
The stays, yeah.
Yeah. Clock says Colton's Hall, $25K from NCC, $7K from Crash, about $15K, right? From slaughtering Taylor week in and week out on Kill Taylor. Yeah, he has one. I don't think it's $15K, but it's probably like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you didn't see it this week, Gabby McGowan took some money from Taylor as well. Which was cool to see a woman win.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And take home the prize money. And she looked really happy.
She did.
Which was really awesome to see that. There's been a lot of speculation, and I know nothing. I'm just saying there's been speculation about relationships because of what happened at the games. She looked really happy.
I agree.
And she's still training with Ben and Krypton. And so that's really cool.
And then reps ahead has come. I think Lex mentioned this.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I pulled it up. I guess we can do that now.
Okay.
I pulled up the website. One of the things I got to do today was hook up my Bluetooth keyboard so I can type faster than leaning across to my laptop. So here are the matches for, oh shoot. I did the keyboard, but my mouse still stinks. Here we go.
These look like fun events to do.
So here are the matchups. Match one is Tudor Magda versus Cole Grieshaber.
Oh, is it handstand walking?
No, it's Lindsay again. Match 2 is James Sprague versus John Wood. Match 3 is Trista Smith versus Zoe Warren. And match 4 is Ariel Lowen versus Lauren Stallwood.
Ooh.
And then they're going to do a final, which I think the winners of each match will then move to the final. And the Sunday evening final is Candace.
There's also a third place match, and I think there's like $5,000 for the first place and like $1,000 for third place or something like that. I think I read somewhere. I could be wrong though.
I was trying to read as you guys were discussing the Wadapalooza event, and I did not see the money on here, but it did have all of this, which it's a pretty good lineup. We're big Tudor fans on this show.
Yeah.
So happy to see him and Cole. Man, I would love to see them do a handstand race.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the tiebreaker.
I know, that'd be cool. This is the event that Hiller and Brian Friend are doing together.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that comes up like November 20.
Oh, it's like Thanksgiving weekend, right?
The weekend before, I think.
So like the 23rd.
Here we go. 11, 23, and 24th.
Yep. Okay.
In the
See,
evening.
there's the money. Keep going down.
Oh, there we go. Winners of the semifinal matches earn $2,000 and proceed to the final match Sunday. Those who are defeated in the semifinal round will compete in a third place match on Sunday, worth $1,000 for the win. The winners from the semifinal round will compete to earn $5,000 in the final matches on Sunday.
Wow.
I want to do one.
Yeah.
I want to do those 2 workouts.
There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good money.
Yeah.
I do agree with Carolyne, and you've said this on past shows. We do need to update the workouts a little bit more. They're very similar every time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to become High Rocks. Like, and every single one has had a box jump in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
A box jump over. Why can't we do something else in that? Like some double unders or, well, that would be the reps.
They've done double. They've done
Stop
double
it.
unders.
Stop it with those double unders, guys. You guys stop it right there. Speaking of double unders, guys, I hired a coach this week for the
Ooh.
first time in my career to help me do my double unders. I've been referred to her for like so long. Her name is Molly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So going to be starting to work with her for the next couple or 6 weeks, maybe. So looking forward to it. I had to send her these videos this week, and I'm sure she will have a headache watching me.
I'm sure she's seen it all. I've heard very, very good things about
Yeah,
her.
I've heard very good things. So
Yeah, you'll have to keep updating us with the progress, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll do a live test under pressure
oh no.
at the end of the training.
Yeah.
But so I'll have to take a step back for sure. It's the off season right now for me officially. So I'll take a step back from doing double unders in my actual training to try to rewire everything and hopefully get more straight for double unders.
Cool. Well, we'll definitely cover that reps ahead as it approaches more. That's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, should be good.
Should be interesting to see how like James and Ariel feel going to Rogue and then into that, because that's only going to be like 2 weeks there. It's only one workout.
They'll be fine.
Two elite athletes probably won't
Yeah.
even flinch at that, but yeah, it'll be interesting. So All Access episode 7 is coming out tomorrow at 12:30. every Monday as always, and I do have a trailer to share with you guys. So it's about 2 minutes, and it really features Duke Van Vliet, who is Val Vobral's coach. And then we just give you a little of the eye candy of the workout. This is the Echo Bike death one. And the funny thing about this episode, when you watch it, is nobody wanted to talk to us after. So really, most of the interview is before, and then the after is just everybody kind of refusing to talk to Ellie Hiller as she's approaching them coming off the floor. And then we focus on Zoe and Ashley Fiala and her watching Zoe at the pit
At the
ramp,
yeah.
to kind of finish up the episode. So that's what this episode's about. And I'll just play the trailer now.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we've done, let alone like the CrossFit Games, like just a multi-day event. Like, again, Val is, she comes to my 5 a.m. class every day. Like, she is not, I'm sure most people probably don't want to hear this, but like, she doesn't do anything extra. Like, when she found out she made the games, we had to have a talk, kind of saying like, hey, you're already, like, you're probably going to be in the top 10 without changing anything. We don't need to change what we're doing. What you're doing is already working. We can sprinkle in a little extra work here and there where you feel you need trouble, but she's an amazing mom, a pillar of our community, of our local community in California. She's a teacher, and like, there's so much more fulfillment in her life outside of CrossFit that I wanted to make sure that, because back in the day, like, how it is, you see these individuals, like, they train all year and longer to guarantee their performance and success at the games. And, I didn't necessarily want her to do that. I still want her to have a summer with her family and take vacations and obviously still train for the games, which we did. And so, this was a little bit of a different approach in terms of getting ready specifically for the games, but I think for her, it was a much healthier approach, mentally and emotionally for her, because I
That's the trailer. Any PTSD, Jamie?
No.
You actually took second on that event, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
you crushed that one.
Yeah. Carolyne, those double unders, you got to see those right there.
I'll get to see lots of them the next few months.
This was a fun episode to make. This one took a lot more effort this week because I added the Fiala story in there of mother and daughter competing in 1,000 miles apart, same weekend. But it's a cool little end piece to this. And then we interviewed both of them, and they were great sports about that. But huge story, and great to be able to add that into this. Aaron Fraser says Reps Ahead needs to put an Echo Bike in their workouts, make people sell their souls.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think they sell their souls to try to get the reps ahead. And we saw that the last few times, but
it would
But I
just
don't
be hard
disagree.
to see with the screen, with a machine. But
they have their reps counter is better
Yeah,
than
that's
anything
true.
CrossFit
Mhm.
puts together.
that's true.
If they could link that in, or if it's just a person hitting a clicker while they're watching it, then we'd be able to see that on the big screen as opposed to like the monitor. That's one thing they do really, really well,
Mm-hmm.
is their rep counters are dead on. So next thing up is CrossFit HQ is hiring. They are hiring a project manager of sports operations. And in the description, it really lists out, I'm going to list out the responsibilities because I was really intrigued by it's a lot of the duties that Dave took over when he came back to sport.
Mhm.
I know that one of the main reasons they brought him back was to help with sponsor relationships. And that is what this job is going to do now. It really has a feel of the business side of the CrossFit Games and its season. So the responsibilities are the day-to-day management of the sports budget, including event budgets and vendors, project manage sports initiatives, including recurring season projects and special projects, including establish project timelines with stakeholders, monitor project progress, and ensure delivery on time and within scope and budget, manage changes to project scope, schedule and costs using appropriate verification techniques, conduct regular status meetings with stakeholders, and to review progress and resolve issues, conduct post-project debriefs after action reports with stakeholders. Also, support the CrossFit Games season competitions by coordinate event schedules and stakeholders, including competition broadcast and other event staff, lead the development of event information packets, event team staff, athletes, judges, coaches, and agents, coordinate event staffing with internal and external stakeholders, i.e. communication budget, contracts, and in-event comms, administrative on-site load at events, i.e. coordination of will call, ticket packets, VIPs, and ensuring the on-site app is ready on time, on budget, and continually improved. Manage sports surveys, and then finally lead the initiative of all contact tracks for sport and liaise with legal, ensure sport has the appropriate tools and resources to increase efficiency and effectiveness continually.
Whew.
Which is a lot.
It
But it's
seems like a lot.
very much the business side of setting up the games.
Yeah. I mean,
Contracts, stakeholders, vendors, information packets, communication, those things, like all the
budget. Yeah. I worry this is going to they're going to pick some business person from outside of the sport who maybe doesn't quite understand the games, like what's needed out of it. I don't know, and maybe a different perspective could be okay, but
it's not the programming, it's not the
but budget will constrict, and that's huge. Like I think that already was an issue this year.
Do you think that this is like any indication that Dave may not be involved next year?
No.
My true opinion, in my opinion, they're trying to take stuff off of Dave so he doesn't have as much to deal with. And then it becomes more of a team actually putting on the games. I looked through this whole thing to see like if safety coordination, looking at agreements with county, local, state, whatever, that is not in here. I thought that maybe they were trying to give like that separation for that kind of planning to be given to somebody else. One, I think what I just listed off is a job and a half.
Yeah.
Not a
I
job.
agree.
And then in addition to all the other stuff that he does, like it is mind-boggling to me. But I'm wondering if they're going to break apart his job into pieces, and I don't know what the end result is, whether he keeps or loses his job, but if they break it apart, it makes it easier to divvy up and say, hey, it's not just one person anymore, it's a team. But I don't know. But I know Heather Lawrence deals with like the outside the ropes aspect of the event, but not necessarily the budget and the stakeholders,
right,
and all of that kind of stuff. So,
well, like Justin Berg was kind of in charge of the budget, right, when he was there.
Yes.
So, like Dent says, I find it hard to believe this position didn't already exist. Yeah, I'm curious, like who took that budget role once Berg left? Was that Dave?
I don't see him as an accounting guy.
I don't either. I mean, did Don Fall just say, here's your budget? And
I don't know. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe one of the things that's coming out of this investigation that none of us have seen or heard of it is that there aren't clear defined roles as to who does what.
yeah,
And maybe this is the first step to giving defined roles for every job associated with sport to make sure people know what they are responsible for.
this is a little much to put on one person. I just think you're going to.
It is, unless they're going to shrink down what the season is.
And that's the rumor, right? Is that it's going to be online or something for a lot of it? But that
All
could just be a rumor.
That is a rumor.
Those rumors seem to always come to fruition. I mean, everyone seemed to know exactly what's happening with masters and teens when it was just a rumor.
I will say, I hate that.
I do too. But
I think the best part of the season that is not marketed enough and is not played out enough is the semifinals. That is the best time to watch CrossFit Live. It is the most fun you can have. And when I've told people that on the show and then met them at semis, they were like, you're absolutely right. We had so much more fun here than we did at the games.
Yep.
It's just not marketed well enough. And we don't keep it the same from year to year.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. At the very least, I think you have to go back to, I say it all the time, you have to have a public leaderboard. They need a media team who's like if this happens, someone needs to put together like clips of 4 people going head to head and like how people advanced on and try to promote it that way.
Like, would we go back to like a 5-week open?
That's what I was wondering.
Or would it still be like
Open quarterfinals,
open quarterfinals, and then the semifinal like they did in 2021 online style? Because I can't see CrossFit cutting too many of the online portions like quarterfinals because it's such a there's so much money being generated from these online competitions that yeah.
I agree. I don't think they're cutting quarters. It was too big of a moneymaker.
It's a huge moneymaker, especially when they added 25% instead of 10%. Like, it's even more inviting to people.
Yeah. I hate the online competition. I just hope that like I'll say it here. I will try to copy what Savon did with somebody.
Absolutely.
And we will run some form of live competition during semis. I've talked to some athletes.
Quarters, you mean?
I would do it for quarters and semis. If the semis goes on.
If it's online. Yeah. But I don't think you'll get as many people if the semifinals are online and that's the way to the games. I don't know that you'll get that many people buying into showing their scores. Compared to quarterfinals is completely different because quarters, like, you're making it onto the semifinals and then you still have the semifinals in like.
If you have people like Dallin and Colton say what they did this week, where they said the benefit of competing head to head outweighed people knowing their scores. So you're going to have a group that think that, and you're going to have a group that don't.
Yeah. And I guess I'm coming from an athlete that would be more of a bubble athlete, so I wouldn't show my scores type thing versus someone that like Dallin who's gonna should. Yeah. So I guess I see it from my me wanting to hide my scores type thing.
Well, I would do it, Scott. I'll be the Lindsay Lane.
I'll do it. Actually, I'll do it for the Masters division.
There you go.
Me versus Jamie.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, when we brought this up a couple weeks ago, when I said you and Carolyne head to head, like we got comments that people wanted that.
Awesome.
So that was interesting.
We'll get a little reps ahead action of Carolyne and myself.
Because Carolyn's she's way younger than you. Like, you're old.
Whatever. Give me some dubs. Come on, let's go.
Damn it. Okay, and heavy dubs and heavy deadlifts. How about it?
That could that could even it out a little bit.
That's hilarious. But we'll try something if that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
To at least have something to watch and to feel more involved in the semis or quarters or whatever during that time. But there's a job there if anybody wants it. You can go out to CrossFit and apply now.
Man, I don't know who would want that job. That sounds extremely stressful.
So I've done like half of that in my past career, right? But the other half, I'm not confident enough to like lay it on the line to apply.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in my life, at my elderly age. Real quick, I'm going to share my screen. I'm skipping over the next one and we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Concept 2 came out with a new machine.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see it?
Yes.
The StrengthERG. I first saw this from Barbell Spin, but then I saw this video on Concept 2's website. So the parts move. Like you can pull, you can push, you can. Who do you think they're selling to?
Like PT clinics. I don't know. This is so interesting to me.
I like it. I'd want one.
With the PM monitor, it is $1,500.
I was reading the comments and someone's like, is there an eccentric version? Like,
That's what
is
I
it just concentric or
Mhm.
like, is there any eccentric parts to the movements?
Yeah.
It
I heard,
doesn't look like it is, but
I heard that it
I
only
wonder.
does the concentric. And to me, that's a huge problem.
I'm playing the video. Can you hear it?
Mhm. Yeah, we can.
I asked if it was going to get sold on the Rogue site, and it's not, just on their C2 site.
Interesting. I see. Larry says a lot of people are hammering the new C2, but it's probably strength training for older folks. I can totally see that. I really like the screen concept. I like being able to see the force like provided there. I can totally see my dad using this and actually like trying to see the strength growth over time. Giving him like concrete and like a little less wear and tear on joints, right?
Yeah. It also hooks into your app as well, like an app on a phone.
Yeah,
And it keeps your data, which is really cool. I wish can they do that? Can you do that on your like rower or your?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's an app for it that you can actually watch all of your splits, everything. If you connect to the monitor, if it, like the PM5 stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I would just wish there were ways to get a little bit different angles, like more for like a lat,
Yeah.
like pull. Maybe if you could raise it up just a little bit, but like for a first go at a strength machine, I think it's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And it's all air wind resistance
Mm-hmm.
with a damper. So anyway.
The app that you can do on C2 normally, it's called ERG data.
Yep.
And if you connect to the Wi-Fi of a PM5, all, like literally everything goes to it, and it's all saved on there, and you can look at previous workouts that you've set up, everything. So it's ERG data.
Yep, that's what I have.
Cool. A couple more news pieces, and then we'll go to the question of the night, and that is Roman's to have hip surgery, and he's probably out 8 to 10 months.
It's crazy.
It's a shame it took him so long to get into the country, because now he just seems to be riddled with injury after injury. But I hope he mends well and can come back at it. Because there's always this like asterisk behind everything, because, well, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, or before, like if he could get in the country, like it'd be nice for him to have one full healthy season all the way to the end to see what he could do.
Yeah.
The other thing was, this was announced by Barbell Spend 2, and it's on the Rogue Instagram account. And I just wanted to ask you, is there a difference that I'm missing? Because it looks like a regular floor to me, but Rogue announced new venue, new floor, and they posted like a motion graphic on Instagram. And here it is.
Well, it's an indoor stadium, so
Right.
you don't normally add turf to an indoor stadium. Like you've never seen a semifinal, you've never seen anywhere add a huge area of turf. So that would be cool to have an indoor.
I'll leave now.
So that's the difference. That's turf, and
I did not.
mat.
I thought the green was just green matting instead of black matting,
Well,
or color change.
no, that's turf, isn't it? Am I being dumb?
No,
right now?
that makes
No,
sense.
that makes way more sense than what I thought. If it's turf, then yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's cool. I think that's a great idea.
It looks like turf. That's what I thought.
I thought it was just a green mat, and I was like,
I
well,
don't. I don't think it would be green mats. I think it's turf, and then you have half rubber, and then. So
I feel like a moron now.
So to me, like if you're doing an indoor stadium, like you've never seen that before. Like you don't.
Right.
Now that gives CrossFit maybe another thing, an idea that they could do at their next event at the CrossFit Games, that it's possible to do a turf area indoors, because that changes a lot of things and implements that you can put on that, like that you had at the previous games, like on North Park, but you didn't do in Texas.
Yeah.
If Rogue
can pull this off,
if it's something that can be moved to location, then it's doable. Otherwise, I'd say it's not in the game's budget.
If they get rid of semifinals, then it's in their budget. I mean, let's be honest.
They already kind of did get rid of semifinals, didn't they? I mean, they handed them off.
It had to be an expense. They broadcast it. They did all there. If they go online, there's no broadcast fee. There's no, it goes from a budget to no budget.
I wonder if Rogue is doing their broadcast stuff like they did last year.
I hope so.
They haven't released anything about it, right? I haven't seen anything on the like on their Instagram that they have it, but
I hear you have a connection.
It seemed like it was successful last time.
I hear you have a connection.
I do.
If it's available, I'll pay for it. Guaranteed. It was. I look at Rogue almost like the XFL. The XFL was so innovative. Now the football on the turf was terrible, but the innovations that came out of it were great. Like we have the over the field camera in the NFL now because of the XFL. We have instant replay changes because of the XFL. I think that like the multicast that Rogue did should be moved to the games, but the games doesn't pay attention to Rogue because they just pay attention to their past, not what any other competition does. Maybe we get someone in there to pay attention and have a multicast where people would pay $25 to $30 for it and get to see everything with multiple views, and you actually make money on it.
Going here on what kind of said, I wonder if they're going to change or like organize the schedule in a way that most of the fans are North American fans, like that, like for like their time zone. If they're going to organize it in a way that like it's just like easier on the broadcast, like timing wise for North America to see at the same time as going on in Europe. I don't like in Europe. It's what, 6? How far?
I think it's 5 or 6 hours, depending.
Oh, so it's
on
not that bad. It's not like Asia or.
And it's ahead of us, so it would be like early
But
morning.
they started late afternoon type thing.
And I'm not against like going in and watching the replay 4 hours later.
Isn't it 9 hours?
No,
It depends, I guess, where you're from.
no.
I think it's like
all the way to Italy's only like 7 or 8. I just know from like scheduling interviews with people, the UK is 5 or 6.
okay. That's not as bad as I thought.
So
Then.
it's probably 6 for us, East Coast.
5 or 6, depending on what part of the UK
I think
they're in.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I think
6 hours, and then like from Lex in California would be 9 hours.
Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough to. I don't know. I think that's going to be. Like,
What's wrong with
they're
waking
gonna
up in the morning and watching CrossFit first thing when
that's
there's
great.
replay?
So what? You don't think they'll start till like noon?
That's
So
what I'm
over
wondering.
there-
Like, I'm wondering if they just start around noonish. So it's not like you're starting at like so early in the morning, but maybe they got one. I don't know. They haven't announced. I don't think I've seen a schedule yet of things, but
Yeah.
It could be weird hours.
is it 3 or 4 day comps there? I don't even remember. Is it a 3 day comp?
Well, they've added like a 4th day, but it's usually only one event on Thursday night.
Oh,
Yeah, the one I think the one
Yeah.
time I was there, we had like a run. But I
Yeah.
don't remember if that
Mhm.
was if that made it 3 days or 4 days.
I think that made it 4.
That made it 4.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope it'll be good though.
Yeah. Okay. Last question I have for you is, we've kind of, Matt's been gone since 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Tia's still hanging around,
Dominating.
but there's no heir apparent to a new dominating multi-year champion. My question to you is, because Pat and Brent and Tia are getting older and they're ready to retire. Not ready to retire, but it could happen soon.
Within the next few years.
Who is next in this sport? Is there a next Matt or Rich, or is there a next Annie, Katrin, Tia?
It's like on the female side, it's so hard because like
Yeah,
the
I
ones
know.
that you've penciled in the last few years, like the Emma Cares, the Mal O'Brien, the Emma Lawsons, have all, Haley Adams kind of stepped away. Not Emma Lawson, but you just don't. It's really hard to predict whether they're gonna stick to it at the level that they're at. Dallin Pepper on the men's side seems to be a fan favorite right now to possibly be one of the next ones, but it's just hard to until I see someone win multiple times. And I get we saw Justin, but it's just so hard. Like the sport has changed so much. Like it's so hard to be dominant.
Yep.
Justin won twice with winning one event in 2 years.
Right.
Like it didn't have the same feel as a Matt or a Rich.
Right.
Right.
I don't know that there's going to be another person that dominant.
I think we're to the point where it's going to take someone super special, because we have grown the sport enough on the competition side where there are more people and the parity has grown.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because like Justin is so well rounded and he's still right up there. It's just there's so many more guys now that they're getting into they're middling and stuff like that. We're still on the women's side a little bit less, like there's less middling. Like there's still like a smaller top tier, I would say, like on the women's side. Like it's the depth isn't there at the games level like it would be on the men's side. So if there is going to be one, it's going to be on the female side, not as much on the male side as what I think.
But even the year Laura won and Tia wasn't there, Laura didn't get into the leader's jersey till the final day.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and it felt, she feels like a dominant athlete, but she didn't win dominantly in that year.
Right.
But she's been so good since 2018 though. Like since
right.
she first stepped up to, like, since she first got there in 2018, got second place, like she has been the best female games athlete outside of, if your name is tia-clair to me. Like by
right.
far.
And it's no dig on her, and it's no dig on Justin, and it's no but they just aren't the dominant athletes that Matt and Rich and Tia and Annie were. I wouldn't even put Katrin in that, because the 2 years she won, Tia was nipping at her heels, and Sarah Sigmund's daughter was not that far behind that. So
I don't think we can tell yet until basically Tia leaves the sport and we see who steps up and can win multiple times. Like I think it's too early to tell who the next one is. Still a lot of that can change. There's definitely a few athletes that have potential to be great, that are still younger, like the ones I named already. Alexis is there as well. But she has health issues lately a little bit. So it's hard to know.
do you think the way Emma is approaching whatever it is that is bothering her by taking like the off season off and still competing, like so far she has not missed a game season, but in this off season she has decided to do other things other than CrossFit, ran a half marathon this weekend. Do you think that puts her in a better position to keep going and kind of get back in the swing of things rather than like completely missing a season?
I mean, that girl's been going at it since she was like 9 years old. Like she's done CrossFit as long as I have. She started so young. Like she can have an off season that is other things. Like she deserves to have an off season that's other things. And I think that it's cool that she's done, the high rock, she's done the half marathon. Sometimes like mentally, it's nice to have a little competition to do that's like outside of your sport and less pressure. Like you're just doing it because it's going to keep you motivated and training, but in a different way. I think this is great for her. She needs this.
She took up golf too. I think I saw on her YouTube. So I think that's good. Play other sports, top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Do I think it'll keep her in the sport longer? Yes, probably. Do I think it'll lead her to becoming the next dominant athlete? No.
I'm going to disagree with you, but I don't disagree so vehemently that I'm going to like go on. I look at like the other sports I watch, like football. When it's their off season, like Aaron Rodgers has said, like he doesn't pick up a football for 6 months in the off season. Like he gets as far away from anything football in the off season. So when he comes back, he can be 100% focused and it's not as hard.
That's what I did like growing up for different sports. So like all of my soccer teammates would play indoor soccer like throughout the winter. I didn't touch a soccer ball until spring. And then I would come right back and jump on it. I did not play hockey all year long. And a lot of my teammates played hockey all year long. I think it kept me injury free, more mentally like sharp. And I wanted to come back and see those type, like my friends from before. Like I think taking a break is so normal in every other sport, but CrossFit, it's so weird. Everyone takes almost 2 months off, sometimes even more from their sport, and then come back and they feel much better. But for whatever reason, in CrossFit, you take 3 or 4 days off and people feel the need to get back in the gym right away. Even a week, they're like, nah, I got to get back to the gym. I got to get back. And it's like, it's not a big deal. Like you can take a little bit more and still be active in your day and do other things.
You can play other sports that will
You can do
keep
other
you
sports. Yeah.
active, right?
Yeah.
Larry Young, this is another way to put it. Gabby is crushing it lately. And she's had some pressure-free years where she's kind of lived in the shadows of Laura. And that's not a dig on Gabby, but she hasn't had the pressure Laura has had. Right. And now she's had a natural climb up the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
And here, like with Kenneth is saying, like, well, football and other pro sports have seasons that are way more event game heavy than CrossFit. And it's like for us, there's way more opportunities to make money in the off season than there is during the season. Like the only time that we can make money really in the season is at the CrossFit Games, and to make really money is the top end of the CrossFit Games, to be honest. And then through sponsorships. But like in the off season, people want to compete even more there to get their name out there for sponsorships because of like their personal brand. Because if they're not competing, then sponsors don't want to support them because they only want to, like, they want athletes that are, you know, on broadcast, are doing well, are doing things. So I feel like a lot of athletes feel the pressure to do things all year round in CrossFit for sponsorships mainly.
Well, and I think that's where reps at head and things like that come more into play. There's enough gaps in the season where you could do a one event match that's televised for the prize money that reps ahead is given. Heck yeah. Like athletes could do that and it won't throw your training off that much. It's one workout.
Yep.
Like if you put that in the season periodically in the gaps between like quarters and semis in the games, it's not going to ruin people for the games or for semis. And it's a way to compete and give people the off season. But I know like Rogue is fun and everybody wants to go to Rogue and we don't want to get rid of Rogue, right? So that's where it kind of sucks. I don't know. I think we're at kind of a tipping point where either we've got to figure out a better season for these athletes or we're going to have what we're having now where people are withdrawing and people are taking years off and just because they have to. And we've got to figure out a better way to either incorporate some of those fun things into a shortened season, but having an 11-month season is not sustainable for athletes.
Right.
Like is Roman's, like it's interesting going back to Roman that you talked about, like, will he even be able to compete next year? I don't know the extent of his injury and how much, like what the recovery time will be for that. They haven't announced anything on dates of next year, which I hope that they announce something soon because I think it's important for athletes to know like what is going on next year and at what point are we supposed to peak and take weekends off and, you know, start planning the following year. Like, do you know what time they usually put out the rule book?
It's been December.
Mm-hmm.
December. But even the dates of the open and stuff is all normally December or just like the rule book? I
think last year was the earliest they've ever done it. And it was either late October, early November.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we're getting it until that third-party investigation's done.
Yeah.
I thought that was supposed to be done.
Don't look at me. I just
John Young said October 7th.
Right. John Young said October 7th. It's all his fault.
Maybe they found other things. I don't know. There's more things. I have no idea. But I hope.
I know you guys, this probably isn't what we're going to talk about, but did you see that 2 triathletes died in competition this weekend?
I did see that.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar explanation from what,
but the very same complaints from the athletes.
Yep.
But they were talking about the chest compression that they couldn't, so they at least took the body out of the water right away. I'm not sure.
Well, in one of the cases, the kayaker turned away from the person in distress. according to the athletes. Now, this again, this is it was so eerily familiar to everything being said at the CrossFit Games.
It sounded so much.
It just
it brought
a little bit of PTSD for me.
Me too. I watched the one interview, like I clicked on the story that Halpin had shared, and I was like, wow, this seems so much like what we just went through as a community and felt.
The one thing it shows you is this isn't an isolated incident for CrossFit.
No.
This happens in other sports too. And we all got to get our shit together. Like, this can't keep happening, whether it's triathlons or the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
Body recovery has to be faster.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it's not a dead body. Hopefully it's a live body that we can then at least attempt a saving maneuver.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dent's update said last year they announced the season on November 8th.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully we get something soon. Just as an idea, like, would be nice.
Just to announce the open.
Yeah, that
is
that's all we want.
Extremely helpful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I need to plan spring break. If anyone has recommendations on Cancun hotels, hit me up. I need an all-inclusive hotel for...
Only if I can hide in your suitcase.
Yeah, we're trying to do Lucas's senior spring break trip with him and his buddy and find an all-inclusive hotel. So unfortunately, Lucas will be like a few weeks shy of 18. So we can't go to one of the adults only resorts. It'll have to be like family friendly. So hit me up with some ideas.
Okay. If I see them in the comments, I'll shoot them over to you.
Awesome.
Kenneth says that the rule book comes out when the 23 games doc comes out.
Great.
The Betamax version of the CrossFit Games doc in 23.
Oh man.
So funny. Yeah. Are you even going to watch that documentary? Like,
I don't know.
The year that Heber and Mars brought out the Lost documentary, the 2018, which was a really cool year. Like when they brought it out 4 years after the fact, when finally CrossFit let them have the tapes or the footage. Like, it wasn't the same watching it 4 years later. It was fine.
I mean, people watch CrossFit documentaries for the first time years later.
That's true.
I'm a fan of CrossFit that I'm still going to watch it.
If it were me, I would just watch the all access to the Masters CrossFit Games because it's pretty relevant and it just happened and it's pretty on top of it.
And it comes
Just
out
saying.
tomorrow, 12:30.
Clock, I'm not sending them to Tijuana. No.
Tijuana.
Well, I'm going too, so I need somewhere good restaurants, good bars. So
Yeah, I've never done the all inclusive resort.
no.
I've
been to Hard Rock, Riviera Maya, so don't recommend that one because I don't want to go back there. But
I've always wanted to try it once, but I haven't. I've had 2 beers all year. I've really quit drinking like altogether, pretty much.
yeah,
Do you feel better?
I do.
Nice.
I had 1 beer in Michigan with Jamie,
mm-hmm.
and I had 1 beer when we went to the lake for vacation with our friends this summer, and that was it all year. And yeah, I do think it's made a big difference in how I feel. So, and I don't even miss it. Like,
Yeah, I don't either.
there are times where it's like really cold out and like a glass of bourbon sounds really good. But it's not like so overwhelming. I've got to go do something else or anything. I just put it out of my head. Kenneth says the White Lotus.
Wrote it down. I'll look it up.
I think that's a TV show.
Oh.
Where people get killed.
Oh, great. Give me real hotels, guys.
I don't know that for a fact. My wife watches it.
Okay.
I do not.
And it can't be like crazy expensive. I'm not looking for total top end. We're
And I was correct. My bad. Just a show.
Oh, geez. Oh, Pete's. Come on, guys.
Yeah. It's like everybody dies that goes to this White Lotus except for like 1 or 2 people.
All right. Crossing that one off.
Yeah. I would cross it off quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. New fall season's out. And I've been so stoked because the Tulsa King came back, which is one of my favorite shows ever. And Shrinking with Harrison Ford came back on Apple TV. Both are just as good as they've always been. Tulsa King is Sylvester Stallone, mob person who was in jail for 50 years. And they sent him to Tulsa. And he basically takes on everybody.
When does Reacher come out? I thought I saw an alert on that.
Well, and 20th Century Fox went bankrupt, so there was speculation that something had to happen.
They did
to retain the rights, and they did. So Reacher 3 and Reacher 4 is being filmed now.
Oh, geez.
And they're looking at doing a spinoff with the girl.
Oh,
The one girl that's been in every season.
yeah.
Yeah. So someone bought them now, and they're good to go. And because it's like the biggest hit on Prime.
Yeah. It's not coming out till 2025.
Well, we're almost to 2025.
It's 2
Then-
months.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Then
Yeah.
for big time, we started watching Shrinking. It's so good. It is so good. I laugh so stinking hard at that show.
I have not heard of that.
Andrew Sten says Disney bought Fox. Yeah, in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, they make fun of the 20th century bankruptcy, Fox bankruptcy, by like showing their emblems like rotting away in different parts. It's pretty funny. And that's why they were able to do Wolverine and Deadpool.
Oh. I'm curious which trash reality TV Ken watches. Like Bravo.
He's a real Housewives guy.
Yeah, like Bravo shows.
It's got to be.
Love is Blind, like those.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. What's the one where they go?
Oh, all the TLC stuff is awesome. Lex and I always watch.
Below Deck is good.
All the
90 Day Fiance.
That's a
90 Day Fiance is one of our favorites.
Wreck.
I love it.
Never watched either.
Oh gosh, I do like Below Deck.
All right. With that, it's been
Like
awesome.
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, hit the notifier, share the documentary with your friends, trying to get it out, trying to highlight these Masters athletes. MLK, have you folks watched Silo or Fallout? I've played the video game Fallout, and I've been interested in the movie or the TV show, but I have not watched it yet. Silo, I've heard conflicting yay or nays on.
I watched Fallout. It was good. Aaron, Lucas, and I watched it each week.
I played the video game and was really, really bad at it, so I'm not sure. Like,
What is going on here?
if I won, I always got trapped in the desert and got eaten by radioactive coyotes or something. So, yeah, I was so bad at the game. Well, with that, guys, and my bad video game play, we will let you go till next week, and I will see everybody next time on Sunday night CrossFit Talk. Bye, guys.